Welcome to Screen Riot. This commissioned review is The Tomorrow War, an action film from 2021. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on Amazon Prime. So go check out the movie and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot. Welcome to Screen Riot, the podcast where we review a movie chosen entirely by fate. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and alongside me are my co-hosts, Eddie, Kyle, and John. And this is a special episode where we will be reviewing a commission from one of our faithful listeners. If you'd like to commission your own movie, go ahead and head over to screenriot.net, click on support to learn how you can submit your own. So with that being said, this commission comes from Rowan G, and his commissioned movie is 2021's The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt. So Rowan writes in, this movie is basically like Starship Troopers and Independence Day had a baby and then put it on Amazon.
Nice. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty apt description, I think.
Yeah.
So what is the Tomorrow War, you may be asking, if you've been living under a rock, I guess.
It is a war that is tomorrow.
It's just not only the best Amazon video produced movie ever.
It's crazy because you can't go anywhere online without seeing this thing advertised.
I know. It's like, see it now.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, do it. See it.
So it's basically a family man is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. It's a pretty ambiguous.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's family man, but
I wouldn't necessarily
ex-military.
say he's confronting the past.
Yeah,
either.
so that's what I was saying. It's kind of an ambiguous little thing there. But anyway, the film is 2 hours, 18 minutes long. It's rated PG-13 and was directed by Chris McKay. Does anybody know this guy? Chris McKay? Does that sound familiar?
I don't think I've heard of him. No.
Yeah. He's basically an animator turned director. He's worked on like all of the Lego movies.
Oh.
He directed a lot of Robot Chicken episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember Robot Chicken.
Yeah, Robot Chicken's hilarious. He did the Robot Chicken Star Wars parody movie back in 2010. He directed the Lego Batman movie in 2017, and he did the sequel that's coming out in 2022.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know there was a Lego Batman movie sequel coming out. All right, well, let's just go ahead and jump into it because this is a long movie. So we open up the movie where we meet Dan Forrester, who is played by Chris Pratt, and we see him falling from the sky, right?
Yeah.
With other soldiers, and he luckily lands in a pool on top of a roof, right?
Glad they put that there.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
Glad they put the pool there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't there, you wouldn't land it in.
For those select people, yeah.
Yeah, right. Hate to be one of the other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Just in the shallow end, not in the deep end, where it says no diving. Don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Still get hurt.
So then we see, we're 28 years earlier, and we meet Dan and his wife, Emmy. They're throwing a Christmas party, and he's basically denied a job that he applied for, which isn't a big deal in the movie. So they're sitting down there watching a soccer game. A portal opens up randomly on the field.
Cup,
yeah, in the World Cup or whatever they're watching, and soldiers just start pouring out of this portal. And the lead soldier basically says that they're 30 years from the future, and they're here fighting something that's not quite human. Then we fast forward to 12 months later, and this is all in like the first 5, 6, 7
it's like
minutes.
10 minutes or something like that. And it goes from really actiony stuff to, oh, I'm really horrible and I don't know what to do with my life, to, oh, I'm getting into this war.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah. So then, like I said, we fast forward again. We're 12 months later from that event, and a few military operations have failed that we've learned through newscasts, I guess, right? Remind me? Basically, some military operations have failed, and citizens all across the world are now being drafted to go into the future to fight this war.
Yeah, a worldwide draft.
Yeah.
Which is kind of strange to think that the world would actually, cooperate together in this whole worldwide draft thing. Because, I don't know, countries to me just, I don't think would actually combine forces and try to do this.
I mean, if you're looking at possibly the extinction of the human race, You might have
Maybe
some allies.
but I would think that the world would be more like in the movie Arrival, where every country would do its own thing, but you would have these select group of scientists that would work together, not necessarily whole countries and whole civilizations of countries coming together and fighting alongside each other.
You might be right, because they would probably look at that time travel technology as being a huge military advantage.
Oh, sure, for sure. That's what I would want to do it.
I think it depends on the circumstances. With Arrival, the reason why those countries did what they did is because the aliens were so vague.
Yeah.
They had no way of communicating. They didn't really know what the aliens were doing, so everybody was speculating about what was taking place. With this movie, granted, you never know. You could be right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say you're not right, but if we just randomly saw 50 people walk out of a shiny butthole in the FIFA game, we'd probably listen. I think people would be like, "Wait, so you're saying the whole world, not like just Russia, right? Like not just our enemy, but like the whole world?"
Yeah.
Oh man, but I hated those guys. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're all food. Okay.
Yeah, humans are food.
Well,
okay.
never mind then.
Yeah.
Let's one world order this, and we'll take care of it. You
Sure.
say it's $1 billion. That should be easy. That's not barely an inconvenience. Anyway. Yeah, I just want to point out that the premise of this movie is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
It makes zero sense. The whole movie makes no sense. The very first 30 seconds, him falling out of the sky, we can only assume at least 1,000 feet. Would you guys say at least 1,000 feet?
That's what actually I have in my notes. As I said, he falls 1,000 feet.
He
from
falls
the air.
1,000 feet into water, and we're gonna go, "Oh, it was water."
Yeah.
Now I don't want to even talk science because it's a movie with big CGI monsters and white spike garbage shooting out of their butts. But at 1,000 feet, hitting water is just like hitting cement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of the people that got sent in that little group, all of them, including Chris Pratt, dies. That would be an amazing movie. I'd watch that, by the way, where in the first 30 seconds, you're just like watching this and you're like, "Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God." And then they all die. Credits. You're like, "Oh, it's one cut of the garbage again. Look at that."
What a great short film.
Yes. Perfect.
One cut of the dead. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. That makes more sense. But yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Well, like you said, we also found out that they're now called white spikes, the aliens that we're fighting, right?
Yeah.
Because they shoot white spikes.
Oh, I forgot.
Out of their tails or something.
You talked about everybody being drafted, right? So they're going to be drafted, not trained, just drafted.
Right.
Just we're going to send you in the future. You're going to become basically dog food, and then if a couple of you make it back, we win. Not really. We're just sending you forward to die. Why? What was the purpose?
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Why do that? Can anybody give me a reason?
Because there's nobody in the future to
It
fight
doesn't
them.
make any sense, though. Why send them in the future at all? So I'm going to send you into the future, but I'm not going to train you.
Spoiler alert, because they're already dead.
Just send you in. No, but it doesn't matter. My point is, if
you're already dead in the future, why not?
But the premise they deliver is that somehow the people they're sending forward are going to fight the war.
Yeah.
But with zero skills.
Yeah.
It's like being
I mean, literally, Chris Pratt shows one of the guys where the safety is on his gun right before
on the
they get
jump
teleported
pad
up.
thing. Yeah, it's silly.
Well, in that instance, they were going to train, but they were called early.
Yes,
that is true.
And they didn't actually have time to do any type of weapons training or whatever
in that time. But all the times in the montage and on the videos and everything that they're showing before, they're not even giving them gear. These people are on the jump pad with a flak jacket over Hawaiian shirts and stuff. Yeah. Tennis shoes and jean shorts and let's do this. What is going on in this movie? It makes zero sense.
The designers in this movie didn't have time to actually have a one world uniform.
Oh, neither did the writers because they didn't have any time either.
That's what
all
I'm
you
saying.
had to do was hire Hugo Boss.
Here's another problem, by the way. So
well, hold on before you.
Go ahead.
One thing is I want to mention is actually the original script. I don't want to jump ahead here.
I really hope it was Nazis. I hope it was Nazis in space. Go ahead.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, the
Hugo
original
Boss.
script apparently it was explained what you're talking about
was it?
sending the unknowing people into the future.
Yeah.
The government injected them with the toxin unknowingly.
Oh.
And then so as the aliens were eating them and breeding and all that, that's how it killed the aliens through assimilation.
But for that storyline, they'd have to already have the toxin.
Right.
Which doesn't happen until like near the end of the movie.
Which is probably why they cut it out.
Oh, because somebody was like, wait, guys, this doesn't make sense. And they were like, what doesn't? They're like, just this one piece. Okay, the rest of the movie's good? Totally. Okay. Even though that's not true, but let's keep going.
Right.
Gotcha.
I mean, they could have just took that and moved it to
I like
the end.
how Bill and
Jesus.
Ted actually started directing this movie.
Am I wrong in thinking that the dialogue is that level? Like, good Lord. Very basic plot hole, by the way. So the people from the future... Because here's what I love. They explain the problems with this movie that anyone with half a brain can see, right? They start to explain it in the movie, right? Like, for instance, the black guy, I forget his name because he seems like he's going to be important and then just walks away from Chris Pratt, and we're only following Chris Pratt, apparently.
Which one are you talking about?
The heavy set guy?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
the heavy set guy, right? The professor or
non-funny
something?
comedy relief?
Yes,
Yeah, you would
that
think.
guy.
Yeah, you think he's built up, and whenever they get there at the
We're gonna be
recruitment
bros.
facilities,
Yeah.
like he's going to be Chris Pratt's buddy throughout the whole film.
No, he's Chekhov's
No.
gun. We see him, and then he just disappears, just walks away.
And then he comes in at the very end and like, oh, I needed a break too.
It was so hard. It was so hard. Did you see that thing? I hid.
I did nothing.
What?
He was
Yeah.
there to call J.K. Simmons conservative Santa, or what do you call him?
Conspiracy Santa.
Conspiracy Santa. Anyway, that guy, though, starts asking questions, and him and Chris Pratt have a little moment. It's almost like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening, where we find out the plants are the enemy. Anyway,
Spoiler alert.
if you haven't seen The
Right?
Happening, I can't save you. So he's like, well, have you noticed that all of our trainers are super young and we're all being drafted and we're super old? I bet it's because we're already dead in their future and they're not alive in our past, which is why that's why everything's happening. Okay, great. So you're adopting some form of like knowledge that time travel exists,
They're
and this is
fixing
a problem.
a typical paradox
Totally,
of
right?
timeline, right? Of time travel.
Absolutely. Why not send back the plans for the time machine? Why does so they're like, we can only build this time machine that only goes in one direction between these two portals, and we're building the second portal here. Whenever we made the jump through, everything's good there. Now we have this link. Okay, cool. Why not just send the plans back and build a better portal? That way you can jump back even further and maybe, I don't know, figure out an even better plan. Why give yourself 10 years? Why not give yourself, I don't know, 100 years, 200 years? Jump back as far as you possibly can. Jump back to the dinosaurs and just be like, we're living here, guys. We got like a cool million years. The dinosaurs are much easier to kill than the white spikes. Let's just let humanity do its thing here. I'll be dead by the time they show up. They won't matter as much.
That actually makes sense.
No kidding. It's just
Because it's held
laughable.
And
by
and
chewing gum and chicken
it
wire.
makes sense, and it goes with how time travel works in this movie.
Yes. It doesn't.
That's pretty good.
You could just leap through time consistently and just
Alright.
keep
Right.
I'm ready to give my
rebuilding.
score 0. It's,
God. There's a bunch of things, but that's one of the... Oh, keep going.
Yep.
I want to get to the
Yep,
cage
yep.
underground. I want to
Yep.
know how they
Oh,
got
God,
that
yeah.
there.
So,
through the dirt butthole.
yeah.
Let's do that.
Since we're jumping around so much, so we see Dan, he's conscripted. He gets put on this, I don't know, Gucci armband attachment thing, which allows him
Meow.
to jump in. What?
It's a noise he made. He goes, "Whoa," and it's like, really? That's the noise you make when somebody like slams metal spikes into your arm? Yeah. Like, that's the noise? What?
It's Chris
remember
Pratt,
that.
I remember
showing
that.
pain.
No. That's the biggest problem, actually, in this movie, is the casting of Chris Pratt in the lead role as an
Yeah.
action star. He doesn't get to be funny at all.
Exactly.
He's
Right.
supposed to be heartfelt. He's supposed to be all these things. I'm like, I think you grabbed the wrong Office character. You should be grabbing, or excuse me, not even Office, Parks and Rec character.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
You should be grabbing somebody else on that show, not Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anybody else on that show.
Well, he allowed himself, or the Jurassic World allowed him to have a little bit of funny characteristics in that.
Yeah.
But this is like all on serious.
Yeah.
Like drama. Like he's trying to save his daughter and the world.
Yeah.
Like there's hardly any room for funny.
You needed
Meanwhile, while
Ron Swanson.
Well,
That's what-
Ron Swanson would have been great, by the way. Yes, Nick Offerman. That would have
Yeah,
been
Nick Offerman.
awesome.
That's-
The movie would have been 20 minutes long, and it would have been just him saying what you're saying
just
now.
can't
Like,
believe that
why don't we
we're
just go
doing
back
this,
and get the blueprints?
How far back? You said 10 years from now, right? Okay, well, let's just bring the plans back from the future and go back 200 years, guys. How's that sound? 200 years, we'll all be dead. Won't matter anymore.
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
that?
Yeah.
Let's just go that route.
Yep. So then
Does
Dan,
bureaucracy have to be involved?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Dan goes to see his dad, who is played by J.K. Simmons, and we found out that Dan has daddy issues, basically.
Yeah. And the was it James? Yeah, his character name is James or J.K. Simmons, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So we find out that he is actually like harboring these other cuffs and stuff like that. So he's at the black market of keeping these things alive. So that way, the government can't say, "Oh, well, you took them off, so you're jailed" or something like that. He's keeping them in some sort of freezer to, I guess, to keep the communication alive. But I don't know. Like the government says, "Oh, why are these like 15 to 30 people in this one location in an abandoned airstrip?"
Not just one location, one 3x3 box.
Yeah.
Why are they all in this very tiny box?
Yeah.
Because it's amazing to me that apparently this time jumping armband doesn't have GPS.
Right?
Doesn't have basic
It can
today
it doesn't work.
technology.
It can tell where you are, whether you're living or dead, and know how to lock onto you and bring you back to the past.
But it can't navigate like Siri.
Right?
It's
Turn
so
left
pathetic.
here.
Siri still sucks 30 years later.
It doesn't make. It's laughable. I especially love that they like tried to pump up J.K. Simmons. They were like, "Can you work out?" And he was like, "I mean, we are farmers." I mean, like he doesn't make any sense.
Actually
He's
though,
so buff.
he is like that's how he is now.
Oh, normally.
Normally, yeah, that's his normal
Super
buff
buff
self.
J.K.
So he
Simmons.
walks around like Scrappy Doo from the Scooby Doo movie. That's how he walks around now.
He was put in this movie because he was buff, actually.
Oh, good
Wow.
lord.
Yeah, there was a when he first started getting buff, his
Yeah.
trainer posted a picture of him like on Instagram or something, and
Gotcha.
it went viral.
Yeah.
And the director saw that and he remembered that
Yeah.
for whatever reason when he was doing casting, and
Okay.
he's like, "I want to put buff J.K. Simmons in this for some reason."
I would be interested to see J.K. Simmons' character's story as a movie. Because
Oh, yeah?
he seems pretty damn interesting.
He seems interesting and yet at the same time kind of boring. He just
Yeah.
lives his life at this airstrip.
Well, no, I mean his
Oh,
story of how
life.
his previous
Oh,
life.
I gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
See, my issue though with J.K. Simmons is his entire storyline not necessary.
Right.
The entire storyline.
Oh yeah, you don't need it.
Just I'll get to the end with him, but to point out this
That's
part,
the only reason he's there.
if you cut out this whole daddy issue thing, doesn't change anything about the movie.
Exactly.
Changes zero
No.
about the movie. It doesn't change his relationship with his daughter. Nothing.
Right.
The only reason he exists is for the last act, for the third act, and that third act makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Kyle's movie that he was talking about with the arrival, where the governments don't talk to each other and nothing can happen. We're all going to do our own thing.
yeah.
Suddenly, they want to go that
Suddenly they
route
run out of
after
taxpayer money.
billions and billions and billions and 12 months of all working together. Now we're parting ways. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Now we're going rogue.
Oh god.
Tax
We'll
money.
get there.
Oh, it's so bad. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes of the worst
18 minutes.
18
2 hours
minutes.
and
Excuse me.
18
2 hours and 18 minutes of the absolute worst junk. Just absolutely horrible.
Yep. We see a montage of Dan and the new recruits. They're learning different training tactics. We see one of the lead people say that that they need to shoot for the chest or the throat because everything else on the aliens are armored.
Yeah.
Let's pause there for a second. Where's the chest and the throat on these things? Can you point that out for me?
Yeah, no, it's
It's human anatomy in an alien body.
But
it's a little difficult. Yeah, I
but
mean
it's
the
not.
belly is obvious, but yeah, the throat is not so obvious.
not at all.
But
So let's send them into the future.
Just don't
trained,
shoot them in the back.
And
'Cause
they don't
like
know what they
being
look
shot
like.
in the
Well,
back because they got armor.
They're supposed to be marksmen.
Yes.
yeah.
With
no
unlimited
training.
With unlimited ammo, by the way.
I know.
well, and all the training dummies that they're shooting at are all human cut out
human shapes.
Yeah.
shaped things. So
Again, I just don't understand why this movie is so lazy. It's the laziest of writing. It's the laziest of a bunch of things. I don't understand why.
So then we also have the little scene that you talked about earlier where we learn a little bit more about how time travel works, the rules of time travel in this movie.
Kind
Yes.
of. The kid who explains it's like, don't worry about it. It's chicken wire and bubble gum. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, but
What a-
Kyle, you were saying that you like the idea of the
I
rat
did-
thing, which I do too.
I did like the illustration of how the time travel works in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's two boats going down a river. It's like you can't actually pick what
Mm-hmm.
time that you want to go back in. You have to actually parallel yourself with the current time. So
Yeah, because time is always moving forward.
yeah, so like if you were gone for a week,
Mm-hmm.
everybody understands that is a week time. So
Mm-hmm.
the guy in the future is spending a week in the future, and the person in the past is spending a week in the past, and everybody lives their life in that week.
Gotcha.
Instead of, oh, I go in the future, it's not like Inception where you go into the past or whatever, or this dream world, and you spend 3 or 30 days or something like that, but you've only been gone for 2 seconds.
Right.
Just to say this, though, so if that's true, what you're saying there, why doesn't all of humanity 30 years from now jump into the time machine and just go back 30 years and just fight the white spikes together with their technology from 30 years from now and our technology and our work, our killing force from then, whenever the white spikes first show up? Instead of waiting the 3 years for the white spikes to produce and tear across Russia and all that stuff, why don't they just...
Well, they probably didn't even have time travel capabilities when the aliens arrived.
You're right, but I'm saying take everybody from 30 years from now.
But by the time they actually develop that, the whole population's dead.
No.
So how are you going to
you're
have a
missing my
fighting
point,
force?
Kyle.
That can't be because they go at the end. They go and kill them before they hatch.
Yeah, and you're missing my point. I'm saying that his daughter...
Yeah.
And everybody, the whole Earth, whoever's left, it's like 175,000 people is what they said.
Yeah, something like that.
All of them go to the jump place in the future and jump back to 30 years before, where where the young people who showed up in the FIFA game, just everybody walk out of the shiny butthole, and then everybody now from the future is in the past. The white spikes that are in the future can just starve. I mean, they don't matter anymore. And then now everybody in the future can take all of their future technology, all of their future knowledge, etc., and help us today fight whenever they show up 10 years. Like, imagine how much more of a force you could have. Like, you could spend 10 years training. You could spend 10 years developing new body armor. We could make mechanical white spikes to fight back. Oh, look, mecha white spike. Like, you could go a whole different...
Oh, that's doing like Godzilla versus Mecha White Spike.
Exactly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you could have you could make the freaking Pacific Rim Autobot deals. You could go a totally different route with this. But instead, they're like, well, we just have to send people from the past to be food in the future. It doesn't make sense. Why go that route? Why send them forward? Why not send everybody else back?
Well, and they knew they attacked Russia first.
So
why not just send a team to go to Russia?
Build the Autobots and meet them in Russia.
But it takes a high schooler that we meet in
the
first
worst.
15 minutes.
Terrible.
It takes a high schooler to tell us,
movie. Yes.
oh, well, there was volcanic activity in like 900 and some odd AD or BC or whatever.
I hated that so much. I was like, so you're telling me the experienced, all the other volcanologists in the world are gone. Everybody's gone, and a 9th grader is who's going to solve this. What is going on in this movie?
But see, he's not gone because it's in the past, so he'd be
So
still
all
be
the
alive.
7 billion people would still be here.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It was. I hated that
I know,
so
so did
much. I was like, ooh.
I even paused the movie and said, "What?"
Yes.
Just in that tone.
I mean, I can handle a lot of crap, but you're telling me there's no volcanologists left. Did we send all the volcanologists to the future to die? There's none left.
They were in the first wave.
All of them.
All of them.
Mr. Opportunity.
Gone.
That's what happened.
Send all the smart people.
That kid the guy who was like, "Oh man, I'm really learning something here." I'm like, "You should have died in the future. If that's the statement coming out of your mouth, I'd wish you'd been eaten, you moron." Go ahead.
All right, so
Sorry.
we're gonna have to move forward real quick here.
But we have to do it as 2 boats floating in the ocean, Justin.
That's true.
And I have a problem. I have another
Kyle,
problem.
I am just messing with you. I kind of
No.
I like their time travel stuff too a little bit.
I did too.
Yeah.
So we know they're Russia, so why not just nuke the hell out of Russia?
Well, because the thing is, they don't know they're in Russia. They think they landed in Russia until the end of the movie. And by the time we find out that that's where they actually hatched, not landed, nobody from the government cares anymore.
Right.
He comes out. I don't mean to jump, man.
Well,
but he comes back with the antidote, and he tells the government guy, "I've got the antidote." And the guy's like, "No, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. Gotta go." Like,
Well, and incidentally, the antidote it doesn't even matter. So the whole crux of the going to the future and saving the world just doesn't matter because they end up screwing up.
Yes, they kind
and
of
end up having to blow them up anyway.
Yeah, it kind of works. It kind of doesn't.
Blow them up to begin with.
I agree with you, but again, it's because they apparently didn't think that the blowing up thing wouldn't work, and because the government didn't want to give them bigger bombs or something, even though the bombs that they used to get into the ship were plenty big enough.
Yeah.
They were
Exactly.
gigantic.
I'd say the C4 was plenty big.
Yeah, it was huge. But I just love how he comes back from the future and he's like, "I've got the antidote. They sent it back with me." And the guy's like, "Okay, we can't do it right now. We got things to do." Like, what is the problem? Why doesn't he get help?
I mean, the only thing is the media has actually said that, oh, the world's over now and everything's failed and we've lost connection with the future and we can't communicate with the future, so all hope is gone.
But they're missing a big piece. The antidote the guy's holding in his hand, that the government guy, who you would think, I mean, why wouldn't he listen?
Well, what kills you, what kills me is that they have the antidote. Okay,
Yes,
I get it.
yes.
But he's saying that the world is falling apart and rioting and all this stuff, and he has to focus his attention on that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't spare 5 people, a plane, and some
That's what I'm saying.
some
No.
snow.
But
what do you call them? Snowboards. What do you call them?
Hang on.
Snowmobiles. Thank you.
But then J.K. Simmons' character wouldn't even exist.
But that's the point.
That's why.
Yeah.
If J.K. Simmons was cut from the movie and the government guy, like, they just basically finish out, like, the thing could have been 30 minutes shorter, right? He comes back with the antidote. Government guy goes, awesome, you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, let's get this going. And big montage, everybody doing things. Navy SEALs get called in.
Mm-hmm.
The remaining Rangers get called in. The Spetsnaz, everybody, all the special forces, Polish guys, whoever, right? They all come raining in. Yes, I said Polish guys, John. They're known for their special forces. Anyway, the Canadian Royal Marines show up.
No,
whatever.
the Canadian Mounties.
Whatever. Thank you.
They
But
come trotting in the Siberian wasteland.
That's all this movie's missing. His Mounties in red jackets and brown hats.
We're going to kill some aliens, eh?
Anyway.
Right across the frozen tundra.
And Will Smith comes out of nowhere and punches one in the head right before.
Oh, gee willikers, they're big.
Anyway, but the government,
know.
but the government in the world basically finish out. They bomb the area. They take out everything. Credits. You can even have a little heartfelt him hugging his daughter at the end, and then credits. It doesn't need to be 30 minutes with J.K. Simmons fighting a monster. It's so dumb.
With a sniper rifle.
It's so dumb.
That sentence right there that you just said just sums up the J.K. Simmons fighting a monster.
Dumb.
Yep.
With a sniper rifle.
Well, what kills me is he somehow is able to go hand to hand with things that we have watched an entire movie ripping people to pieces, to shreds, over and over again. And he's like, I got this with my dagger.
That's what I want to hear. That's why I want to see his
That's why he's
story,
buff.
because he's a badass.
He's not that badass. He's the ravings of a pothead is what he is. Whoever wrote this movie was high and went, okay, I love Chris Pratt, man. He's amazing.
I bet he's got insurance that'd cover it, though.
He probably does.
Since we jumped around so much of the movie, let's talk about some of the more specific parts in here.
Yeah.
So, like, the first time that they jump, we were following Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah.
The first time we jump with all of his non-character crew, right?
Yeah.
One of the first things that bugged me about all this was they were jumping with this guy named Dorian, who is like a 3-time jumper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this is his third tour,
You
basically.
mean should be team leader.
He should be.
That's what his name
That's
is.
what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Dorian should be team leader.
I
That's his
don't-
last
Yeah,
name.
but we learned very quickly he don't care about no team.
No, but he has a
But
team.
he has a team.
that he doesn't care about, but they care about him.
Yeah.
It's actually really sad.
Well, he cares about them, and he's super pissed that Pratt was like, oh, we need to save everybody.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I've been there, done that. It's just a waste of time.
It's so stupid.
I mean, but
Yeah.
they're charged with going to this research facility to basically gather, rescue anybody that's still alive.
Yeah, and
because
samples.
and get the samples for some research. But it's being bombarded by white spikes, right?
Yeah.
So they go in. We see some ridiculous stuff. They play Ring Around the Rosies during the stair scene, which annoyed the shit out of me.
Which is actually the first time that we've seen
Yeah,
the
it is.
aliens
It's
up
the
close.
first time we see them.
And
right
we
there in
also
that scene.
see how difficult it is to kill them because the monsters or the aliens, I guess you could say, they're smart and they're like, oh, well, these bullets don't penetrate our armor, so let's
Let's
face
use our
back.
armor.
Let's
Yeah.
use our armor to deflect everything, and then we eat them or whatever. But that's when I realized that this movie did not care about the whole ammo aspect of weapons.
No.
I mean, it totally Hollywooded the crap out of ammo usage in firearms.
Yeah.
And it's like, those things had like maybe 30, 42 round mags or whatever. It's done in mere seconds.
Well, they felt the same way about ammo usage that they did about CGI usage. Just fast and loose. You know what I mean? Like, whatever works here, guys.
They're just pulling down that trigger, and I'm like, okay, you're out. Nope, he's still not out. You're out now. Nope.
Nope.
Okay, Nope. Okay, we're still going.
And all they had to do is bring back some alien technology and make the future weapons that just regenerate little beams. Pew, pew, pew.
But I will say this.
Or white spikes.
But I will say this.
Something.
But the white spikes are actually like their like poop or something, because it's coming out of their tail and we don't see poop, so it's got to be like some kind
they're
of
like
some
bones
kind
or something.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, but it's kind of weird that they just regenerate bone out of their tail. That's kind of strange. They don't have any
calcium,
but they don't have any tech.
Yeah.
They don't have any tech because they don't care about money. They don't care about government. They don't have any tech. There's no ships or anything.
Well, we later learned that their entire purpose of being is to devour planets, devour life on planets.
Yeah, whatever jerks brought them in their spaceship, these things were probably engineered.
Yeah.
Is basically what we find out later on. But there's no
like
thing
Predator.
Kind of, but Predator's
Well,
not
like
engineer.
Alien.
It's more like Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, like Alien.
Yeah. Predator's a species himself.
Yeah,
But-
I mean that's the whole the premise of Aliens, right? And Prometheus and all the prequels and all. The engineers engineered them. They flew them. They crashed.
yeah.
Then the guys got loose.
Well, the whole thing is that apparently engineers millions of years ago started up all these planets and then decided millions of years later, we hate our creations. So they created the aliens to essentially the what's it called?
I forget.
Yeah, that thing.
Whatever it is.
To basically go and devour planets.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's
I
kind of
do.
weird. This movie, though, the other piece I was going to say was specific to the tech thing. It's interesting to me that they are basically animals, right? Basically, and for whatever reason, nothing like we can create time machines before we can create like a railgun, right?
Yeah.
Or a sonic weapon or something that would harm essentially animals.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be something that we can come up with. No, nothing. Just get eaten. That's it. Time machine, though, we can make that first.
I mean, if we go by the lore of the movie Signs,
Yes.
if we could just get some Super Soaker 5000s and throw some water on them,
Yeah.
that
That's,
might
what, that's what this is. Joaquin Phoenix with a baseball bat.
And I honestly thought
That's
that's why their base was out in the middle of the ocean.
So did I until they were swimming.
Yeah, I know.
was
I'm like, maybe
oh,
they can't swim.
Yeah,
Because
no.
I was thinking, oh, okay, well they're taking the science approach. They hate water. Cool.
No, it had
Excellent.
something to do with like a temporal space thing. I guess that's where the signal was strongest or something.
out in the middle of nowhere on an oil rig.
Yeah.
So basically, the team they fight some more aliens, keep coming back.
Yeah.
They finally get picked up by some helicopters.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt wakes up.
Oh, the
What's
Nora
that?
character.
Who's Nora?
She was that like that soccer mom character. She reminded me of the snail from Always Sunny. If you're a fan of that
it's
show.
This chick.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't understand her sacrificing herself.
Because she was really close to the person she just met.
Exactly. But I mean,
They're fighting for humanity, Justin.
No, they're not. They're food.
yeah.
No, they're fighting for humanity.
No, they're food.
fighting for themselves.
They're not fighting for anything. They are food.
They don't know that.
There's no. That's the thing.
They got dropped in thinking that they could win a war, and they're fighting to save humanity.
Here's my thing that's weird. I'm sorry to cut you off one more time. I just got to say this real fast. Here's my thing that's weird. So the planet, right? Like most of the planet, 99.8% of the planet, 99% of the planet gets eaten by these white spikes. And the people that are left have the brilliant idea to go back in time and grab essentially the people that are going to create that generation, right? And bring them to the future so that the white spikes can then kill all of them off as well. It just...
Well, no, they had a very specific way of finding...
Well, the draft, obviously.
Well, to find who can actually go forward.
Yeah, the
So
draft, yeah.
So if they don't have any future kids or anything else like that, and
Yeah.
they know that they're going to be dead here in about 2 months or
just
7 years or whatever,
Feed them to the meat grinder.
yeah, why not? They're going to die anyways.
But it doesn't make any sense.
I know.
again.
Well, it does make sense. It's the draft. The draft,
No, but what was their purpose? They were trying to fight a force that has already wiped out 99%. Like, to me, honestly, I would be that person. I'd be that person, guaranteed. We're developing the time machine. The whole time, I'm like, are we sure? Like, hold on. Everybody's dead. Like, most people are dead. Do we not? Why not just let them live? If they only have 10 years... I would trade anything for 10 years. How about this? How about we just build the time machine and all of us just get into this bitch and go? Like, we just won't come back.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go back to the past. 10
See,
years? I'll
you're
take
not-
10 years over 2 more minutes here. You know what I mean? But instead, they go back to the past and they're like, "We're robbing you of the next 30 years. Go to the future." Like, Jesus.
Okay, so I can wrap this up. This movie is not meant to dig into.
Oh, that's why it's a horrible movie.
This movie is made to sit, eat some popcorn,
Turn your brain off.
and turn your brain off, and
So,
to go, ooh,
here's-
cool, aliens are dying.
Here's
neat."
why. Here's why I don't agree. They discussed their own science. They brought science
Yeah,
into
but
it
it's-
purposefully.
It's merely an inconvenience.
I agree.
It's like,
but-
that information. Oh, well, they're just talking about. Just
It-
go
it
back to
does-
shooting aliens, please.
to what Eddie's saying, they do try to treat the material as like heavy-weighted
Serious?
material.
Yeah,
serious
I get it.
material.
So why do that? No, if it's a popcorn
Right.
movie, don't do that. Take
Yeah, but
all
the-
that out.
But the majority of the film is popcorn movie. It's just
They-
it's meant to entertain and distract.
For a movie that's supposed to entertain and distract, there's 20 minutes of us watching a woman develop an antidote, develop a serum. There's 20 minutes of beakers in this movie.
That's true.
And
There is
somehow-
a montage. There's a Rocky montage sequence.
And not the lovable Muppet beaker either.
No, there's 20 minutes of science. there's 20 minutes of volcanologist talk, and
No, but what that-
we're going into the ice. So what kind of ice? It's
What that
litigious
is-
ice. Like
No, what that is it's a father-daughter. They're trying
Yeah.
to become together again because crap happens in the past. And
So we're running out of time here, and we have some major plot points that we got to
sorry.
get to.
Yep.
Oh, the
Um,
plot points now.
yes.
oh, there's plot points.
Yes.
When did those pop in?
Oh,
I was about to say, what writer did we finally hire to write plot points into this movie? Go ahead.
Well, one of the major plot points is after he gets back from his first tour, Chris Pratt, that he meets Colonel Forrester, which turns out to be his grown-up daughter at
Right.
that point, right?
Are you talking about in the future?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the future.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
his first mission.
His
anyways.
first
Yeah,
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where do your people hail from?
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
place
it's spelled
yours
with one
does.
R, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So then we also learn a major plot point of that all of the things that they've been fighting so far are just males, but there is like a queen female out there.
Apparently, just one.
Yeah, she says females. They don't ever use the term queen, but
There's not just one. There's a bunch of them, but there are females, but there are like pack. Think about like a bunch of beehives. There's more
Right.
than one beehive in the
Oh,
world,
yeah.
right? It's a bunch of beehives.
Yeah,
so there's a
multiple
queen bee
queens, yeah.
and then a bunch of drone males and whatever. This is one big. I didn't even actually come up with this. My wife brought this point up, and I thought it was hilarious. So this is the part where they go to try and catch the queen, right?
Right.
Or catch a queen.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this cage underground in a dirt butthole, and they rappel down through the dirt butthole into the ground, and there's a cage under there. Huge cage, right? They catch the white spike, which I have a problem with this too, but I just want to get to the end here. They catch the white spike, and then a bunch of white spikes are about to attack, so they have it hooked to a chain to a helicopter, and they rip the whole thing out of the ground, and it tears the earth all to hell. How did they get the big ass cage under the ground in the first place?
It's just like how you bring an IKEA dresser into your house.
One piece at a time.
they assembled it IKEA style.
They go, okay, this piece A goes
like
to
this.
B,
I do too.
wood dowel,
Oh.
insert here.
No, there's no words on IKEA directions. They had a piece of paper.
They just had that
with a
bubble
bunch of
guy do it.
pictures.
Sorry, it's just work, beak, bird.
I like. It would have been hilarious if they would have had a close up of the instruction sheet
Damn it.
off to the side.
Damn it,
one
Jim.
guy on his hands and knees looking at it and go, "We're missing pieces, guys."
If this had been,
We got to go back to the store, man.
If
They
they
didn't
had-
give us an Allen wrench.
if they had done that and gone full comedy with this movie, I would have liked it a lot more. Like if J.K. Simmons had been like, "Whoa, we're doing this," like I would have laughed a lot harder. My second problem, though,
Not
with,
my Allen wrench.
with underneath the ground thing is they wrestle this white spike, right, and they get her into the cage, and we're in agreement that this cage has a bunch of holes in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like slotted.
It's like bars.
It
It's
is
like
slatted.
bars,
Yeah,
right?
bars,
It's
yeah.
a cage. She's shooting white spikes everywhere until they close the door, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't shoot anymore." Why? There's a bunch of holes in the cage.
Maybe
You
there's
can
not
easily-
enough. Maybe there's not enough room. I don't know.
for the bendy tail that
Yeah.
was whipping around and
Yeah.
Yeah,
pulling
because technically
180s.
the tail could fit through those holes Just
And you guys are done.
like a periscope.
Thank God we invented the hog tie. We just hog tied the tails together and can't move.
I don't
Kyle,
know. I mean, if
Hollywood
you're right,
should hire you, Kyle.
if
Hollywood should hire you just as a PR guy for all of Hollywood. We know the movie's awful. Here's Kyle. Listen. If you think it's
IKEA,
awful,
I think IKEA missed a perfect sponsor, like
slap a name
Yeah.
right on the side.
like product placement. They should have just done one
you
quick
kinda,
shot.
You kind of wonder
so
why
bad.
is it all Americans? In the future.
Oh, God.
Why is it always our tech? Because I didn't see any like.
No, there were no joint forces.
There
You
was
didn't
no
see, like,
Russians,
the
there was no
UN of the
Chinese.
future or anything. No.
Maybe the queen ate one of those Swedish meatballs and was tuckered out.
Oh, maybe they're like,
Jesus.
dang, this is made in IKEA.
They're so
Crap.
so bad. It's so awful. Can I
So
jump?
yeah,
Oh, go
well,
ahead.
I was
do
gonna
your
say,
thing.
didn't they have Miri, his daughter, and
Yeah.
Chris Pratt have this little heart to heart on the beach, which is,
That
Yeah.
could have been thrown out.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Although it's the only. I agree with you. Listen, the thing is,
I know the whole movie could have been thrown out.
I want
in
to
your
cut as
opinion,
much of
but-
this down as possible, but it's the only scene where they actually talk.
right.
It's
Yeah.
the only scene where we find out why she's pissed in the first place.
Yeah, we find out that he's separated from
Yes.
his wife. They got divorced.
And originally, I thought that she broke time travel in this scene, and she didn't.
Right.
Because she says, "When I was 12, you left," etc.,
Yeah.
etc. I thought she said, "Whenever you came back, you left." Like you came back scarred and you left, and she doesn't.
Right.
Had she said that, I would have called shenanigans because that would have broken the whole time travel movie. It wouldn't have made sense at that point.
Right.
But
Yeah.
she didn't. She just says, "When I was 12, when I was 12, you left." Mom, whatever, and then when I
Yeah, because in her timeline, nobody had
no
jumped
no.
to a different world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But originally I thought that had happened. I
Oh,
was
right,
like,
yeah.
oh, I will rip this movie to shreds. But wait, I can for other things.
So they bring the queen to the Deep Swell 9, which is that testing facility.
What was the name of it?
Deep
called
swell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Isn't that what I said?
because it's in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Deep Throat 9. What?
Deep swell 9.
Deep Swell 9.
District 9. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then basically,
Why is it Deep Swell 9, by the way? Are there 8 other ones?
I
For this
don't know.
one-off, time travel location?
There's several
Maybe the
deep
ninth one
swells.
was made by the Americans, and it's the only one that survived.
Deep,
I don't know.
Deep Swell 9. Okay, go ahead.
bought by IKEA.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we go through your montage of them
Making
basically
the,
trying to
serum
make
or
the
whatever,
toxin,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then Miri gives the big thing of the whole movie. Here's the toxin. You have to take it back with you.
She
and
doesn't do that, though. You're
does.
saying,
Well-
nope, not yet. First, she has to run around Minority Report, Tom Cruise
Oh,
not
yeah,
getting
'cause
shot by
I was-
laser beam style. No, I know. But the point is, when those explosions are happening and her and Chris Pratt, everyone's blowing up. People are being blown
Yeah, the
up
whole
left
place
and
is
right.
blowing
Whole
up,
place
yeah.
is blowing up. And her and Chris Pratt, she gets hurt, granted, but they're able to land on the one spot on this entire thing that's not on fire, apparently, and have another 2 to 3 minute conversation.
That was annoying to me. Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? And she's like, here's the answer. I'm like, why haven't you already given it to him? You could have died 16 times. He would have
Or-
just watched you die, and the toxin just goes with
Or
you.
God forbid, when she fell through the big
It just
gate
crashed
or
against
something
her
like that,
body.
it just broke.
Yeah.
Like the vial just broke or whatever.
I was like, what are you doing carrying it? Why
Yeah.
didn't you give it to him in a metal box?
Yeah, and then the queen jumps up as she's death monologuing.
Yes.
The queen jumps up and
death monologuing. I
You
like
caught
that.
me monologuing.
and breaks the catwalk or whatever, and then she falls, and then Chris Pratt, being an idiot, he jumps in after her,
And then
which-
gets ripped back to the past.
and then gets ripped to the house. Now I do have to say the slow-mo shot of her falling and the explosion, I thought that was a pretty cool shot that they did.
CGI.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
everything in
Ton
this
of
movie.
CGI.
Is
I just
CGI.
thought it looked really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That was it.
Even the
Just
Hummers
that-
at the very beginning when they were trying to get saved,
Yeah.
the Hummers were fake.
Oh, really? I didn't
The Hummers
notice
were
that.
CGI when they were getting tossed around. Yeah, it's all CGI. This whole movie was shot on a green screen.
That's awesome.
The stairwell they were at green screen.
I
don't
say
know.
that ironically, by the way. It's not.
Yeah,
Yep. So
It's
he
really
wakes
not
up
awesome.
and
The actors, green screen.
yeah, pretty much.
yeah, Dan wakes up and he's told that the jump link is down. They can't fix it. Dan gets back home. He sees his daughter, who's made a welcome back sign. Dan's wife tells him, this annoyed me too, that the aliens were here already, way before they attacked, kind of like War of the Worlds
Yes.
or The Thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or any number of other movies. Yes.
Yeah, which do it way better. Actually, and speaking of War of the Worlds, the heroes in this movie, their last name is Forrester,
Yes.
and the main character in War of the Worlds is Dr. Forrester,
Oh.
with 2 R's,
Yep.
not one, like it is in here. And they even make this little joke when Dan meets his daughter for the first time, they go, wait, is it Forrester with 2 R's or 1?
Yeah.
So it's almost like they did like some kind of not montage, homage.
Yeah.
To War of the Worlds.
Except not really.
Basically
because
saying, hey, we're
high.
going to steal some of your plot points and
Yeah.
put it in our movie.
Yeah, they were watching World of the Worlds as they were high writing this script.
Right?
Yeah.
It would be much better though if like time travel and like his
Yeah.
daughter wasn't just his daughter, but like his mom.
If
Yeah.
only we
What?
had the budget for Tom Cruise.
Yeah. This movie really wants to be Edge of Tomorrow,
Yes.
but it's not as good.
No.
Edge of Tomorrow is 10 times what this movie
Oh, yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I really like
Edge of
I
Tomorrow.
liked Edge of Tomorrow
Live,
too.
Die,
Have you
repeat.
seen Edge of Tomorrow?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
If you haven't,
but
it's okay. You got to see it. It's a fun. That to me is a fun popcorn movie, but it still has like some smarts to it, and I really
Which has some interesting time travel stuff
pieces.
to it.
Yeah.
But so then Dan goes and meets team leader,
yeah.
not team leader Dorian at the bar.
Should have been a team leader.
Yeah, should have been a
Right.
team leader Dorian. Basically says, hey, do you still have your claw? Why? Like, I'm not.
it's gonna look really tough.
I guess. So
Yeah.
then they go to the chubby guy who is a scientist, and they look at the claw. They find sediment on it. They realize this guy who's not a geologist or whatever knows that it's ash that's on it. Mm-hmm. And then one of the worst parts of the movie to me, and
They go to the kid. Yeah.
They go to the high school kid who is an expert on volcanoes. And
Not just an expert, by the way. He's the one person
The
in
one
this
person
whole
on the world,
world
yeah.
that you should go see if you have questions. It is the dumbest. It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as what was that movie where they went to the center of the earth to
the
the
core.
center of the earth.
No,
The core,
no,
isn't
no.
it?
The core.
Yeah.
Yes, the core. It was almost that bad. At least in that movie, though, they actually used all scientists, and that movie had Hilary Swank in it. I mean, good lord, right?
She's swanky for sure.
Oh, I don't like Hilary
I
Swank.
liked the core.
Did you?
I did.
It's a-
it wouldn't get a 10.
No, it's a fun movie.
It's
I
a-
mean, but that's
I
my.
can get lost in it.
But I agree. But again, it kind of goes to,
It's got Stanley Tucci.
and even in that movie, though, at least everybody's scientists. They're not like, oh, scientists. The worst they come up with
High
is
school kid.
Rat, who is the hacker.
Oh, yeah.
Who at least stays up top, and I guess he's just good at like hacking and stuff. Okay, fine, I can deal with him. But even he's not a high
You
school
gotta
kid.
hack the earth, man.
Yeah, I know it's the dumbest.
Hot Pockets
line
and
in that.
Xenotapes.
Yeah. So basically, the kid tells them that it's from the ashes from this volcano that exploded in yada 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 back in Russia.
Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
'Cause
Oh,
we
no,
warp-
China.
We
or
work there
China, that's
anyways.
China.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Japan.
China.
No, it's China.
Taiwan.
And
One of
then
those places.
yeah, and then so they go to another part that Eddie has a real big problem with. They go to the government employee and says, "Hey, we got the toxin and we know where they are. They've been here forever. We're gonna. Go
I got
kill
bureaucracy to deal with. I can't deal with you right now.
Them. Exactly.
Next.
Yeah. They can't spare $5,000 to send some people in a helicopter.
No, because I mean, I
I guess
kind
they
of,
had to give them all matching black coats. And
yeah, I don't know. They
They
gotta
just
have
whipped
a-
those out of their ass. By the way,
They had a
Like,
Team USA outfit going on.
again, this movie should have been a comedy. Okay, could you imagine if like that scene happens? But you know who should have directed it is South Park guys. Those two guys could have directed this. This could have been Team America 2. Team America 2, Tomorrow's America. That's what it could be called. Right? And at the end, it's dun 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 dun. dun. Like, at the end-
America. Fuck yeah.
right? As they come over the crest and blow up Russia. Like,
We just
sir,
do,
we've
like-
blown up Russia.
like an excessive amount of like snowmobile jumps, like just over and over
For no reason.
Yeah, no reason. Yeah.
That's what I mean. And then Chris Pratt makes total sense. Who do you cast for that? Chris Pratt. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so they go
And
to
Matt
Russia.
Damon.
They find this. They find the spaceship. It's covered in ice. They blow up the ice. They get to the spaceship. They find out that the aliens weren't. They're crashed here basically.
Yeah.
They were flying. We assume somewhere, and it was crashed. And these were the passengers. The white spikes were passengers. They
Right.
weren't the.
They weren't the pilots.
Yeah, they weren't the pilots. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, the pilots didn't survive. Just the white spikes. Well, that was inopportune.
They didn't land here. They crashed here.
because they're in matrix eggs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then
They're
they
in
all.
Predator. They're in Predator
tubes or whatever.
tubes.
Yeah.
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 Like in Predator 2.
So they take out their little needle things. They inject like 5 of the things. They wake up everybody, and then they have another firefight.
So when they got to the spot where they had to dig to get to the ship, why were they all confused that there was some interference with the GPS and the compasses?
I don't think
they're like, what could be causing this? Well, we're like looking for a ship, and the Earth is spinning.
Listen,
like, what?
You guys were the ones that told me you liked this movie, Kyle. I don't know what to tell you.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10.
John?
I don't think they were confused that their instrumentation was going bad. I think they were like, oh, is it just me screwing up, or is everybody screwing up? Okay, well, we must be.
Yeah.
That's
this
how they
has to
found
be
it.
something. It's how they found it.
But there's a lot of dialogue like that again, you could just trim out. This movie could be a solid 74 minutes. You know what I mean? Just in and out.
Yeah, the compass starts spinning.
Minutes. How specific is that?
Well, I cut out all of J.K. Simmons. I cut out all the ridiculous lines like that. It becomes a comedy, and almost everything about it is just over the top. Just no reason.
They had enough C4 to blow up the whole ship anyways.
Right.
Plus some, apparently. Because they didn't know about this whole chamber of aliens as well.
The chamber of secrets of aliens.
Yes. They only appeared to be in this small
pod.
Church.
There's like 6 of them.
It was like a church-like sanctuary where they are all hovering around the queen.
I think those were the queen. I think those were the queens. That's why. So there was a queens, and then all the males were in the other room.
It looked like the queen was in a bigger bubble.
I agree.
And then the males were all in a small one. And I was thinking, okay, that's all you need to start, a whole population is you just breed these things, and they, I don't know, whatever. Insert dialogue line here to make sense. But just add a lot of C4 and just blow the shit up.
Yeah, I don't know why they just didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like you found them. They're all hibernating. Why test the actual green juice?
Because that doesn't give J.K. Simmons a chance to tear his shirt off, wear a jacket. Does anybody know? Was I couldn't tell. It was a lot of J.K. Simmons just wildly flailing about and then somehow fighting with a knife the things that have been ripping people to shreds the whole movie.
Well, yeah, the ending fighting scene. You want to go to that one?
Yeah, I want to say real quick that I didn't. Dorian basically blows himself up in the spaceship.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
which I didn't understand that motivation either.
Well,
he clearly could have ran out the same way as the entire group did.
He went down singing a blaze of glory.
I mean, I get that he was.
I want to die my way.
Well, that he was dying anyway soon, but still. Okay.
Oh wait, you're right. It's not Blaze of Glory. That's not the song he sang. It was I Want It My. Is it My Way or That Way?
That Way, I think.
The Backstreet Boys song.
Yeah.
With a name like Dorian.
Anyway,
so Dan and his father are fighting the Queen in this epic battle of wills and muscles flailing about.
Are you saying Dorian?
Dorian, yeah. Isn't that
Dan?
No, Dorian's the.
He's talking about the guy with the claw.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Three tour. Dorian should have been the leader.
Well, yeah, Dorian was the one who killed himself. Yeah, Charlie was the one that was up top.
Right.
With J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Okay.
I skipped all that.
Oh, okay.
But Dan and his father are fighting the Queen. And I actually laughed. This was the first time I laughed in this movie. Mm-hmm. Was when I think it was Dan or one of them stabs the Queen.
It was Dan.
He stabs the Queen in the arm, and he injects the toxin into her, and the arm starts to disintegrate. Right?
Yeah, she bites
and then she bites her own arm off and throws it off to the cliff. I laughed out loud.
I was actually expecting some sort of Jurassic Park line to go like, "Oh, clever girl," or something like that.
Funny.
You know?
Yeah.
Again, this movie the comedy writes itself, guys. It wouldn't have been that hard, Hollywood. Come on, let's get
clever
this
girl.
right.
Yeah, and then Dan's father, he cuts his hand because
I guess they're
blind.
attracted to blood.
Yeah.
No, they are attracted to blood, which he shouldn't know, by the way.
Right.
They found that out in the future. So at some point, somebody told J.K. Simmons they were attracted to blood, but he shouldn't have known that.
Yeah. So then she starts to charge, and then all of a sudden Dan is on his snowmobile somehow. And
because America!
And he jumps and hits the Queen.
Oh, I know. Well, yeah, and the other part is I think it was when... Yeah, when they were charging at the very, very end, the charging scene with the snowmobile, that happened earlier when J.K. Simmons was on the sniper. But this one, when he cut his hand and the Queen was coming after him, Chris Pratt apparently turned into Superman and intercepted this alien going like 40 miles an hour and ends up on her back and then injects another one.
Okay, yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that in her face or something.
That's right.
And then
okay.
that's what it's like. Oh, try to bite off your face now.
Yeah,
you know.
And then
All these one-liners,
it would have made more sense
She
if
takes her claw and rips her own face off.
face.
it would have made more sense at the end if Charlie had ran up on a snowmobile and
Right.
not Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
I was hiding before, but I'm not now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
And then
Another
Dan
useless line of dialogue.
basically upper punches the queen like Mortal Kombat style.
Oh,
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons from across the ice.
Fatality.
Finish her, Dan. Finish her.
finish her.
Fatality.
Fight.
And
Oh
then
my
all of a sudden
gosh.
we're back at Dan's house and
Yep.
we
Everybody's
see J.K. Simmons.
all the
and-
family's back, and
That
we're
was
you know,
stressful.
it's
You
a
guys
good-
okay?
It's a good movie.
Did you make it? That was stressful, right? Oh, super stressful. Credits.
and then credits.
What a waste of a movie.
It was great.
No.
So
It was an awesome popcorn movie.
I want to point out Kyle's going first for the rating.
So I will.
Sure.
That's fine. I was going to go over the budget for this film.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty interesting, the story with this whole. It's a weird movie, yes,
I'm listening.
but the budget part is even more weird. So this wasn't actually produced by Amazon.
I figured.
It was bought by Amazon.
Yeah.
The movie was already complete.
Of course.
It was already a nice little package in a little Amazon box, and Amazon's like, "Yes, please."
Somebody with a brain went, this should never see the light of day. And Amazon's like, you got anything? And they're like,
I think
this.
I think Paramount. I think Paramount was thinking, "Oh, thank God, COVID,"
Yeah, exactly.
because who the hell would actually buy this?
Paramount made COVID to stop this movie from coming out.
They
not
they
funny.
saw
Those
the
people
future.
died,
Yes,
Kyle.
they saw the future. But anyway, Amazon bought it for $200 million. So the budget that's going around is saying that it was $200 million. Who knows if that's penny for penny or if Paramount made some extra cash on that deal.
Yeah.
But since we didn't actually see this released in theaters, the budget's a little bit different in like the gross worldwide and stuff like that. So I did some kind of fuzzy math.
It's 65 subscriptions.
According to Wikipedia, it streamed to 2.41 million households during the opening weekend. So 2.4 million households hit play between July 2nd and 5th.
How many of them hit stop within the first 30 minutes? That's what I
We
want
don't
to
know.
know.
Can't have that information.
Oh, man, that fuzzy Castos math again.
Yeah.
So did some fuzzy math. So if everybody paid $120 for Prime, and they include Prime Video into that, out of that $2.4 million or 2.4 million households, they would have made like maybe $72,000
Okay.
because it's 2 hours long. Divide whatever into however many hours, whatever. So 72,000, not that great,
No.
right? For an opening weekend, anyways. But if this actually did go into theaters and 2.41 million households went to see it, I just rounded it to like 3 people in a household, roughly.
Fair. That's fair.
With an average ticket costing about $9, it would have made about $66.2 million in opening weekend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now it comes to a question, is it going to be beneficial for these companies like Netflix, Amazon, or Apple to go to these already established film producers or something like that and go, yeah, I want that money that's already wrapped up in a pretty bow? Is it worthwhile for them?
For Amazon?
Or
and
or
Prime?
they just produce their own stuff.
Yeah, is it beneficial for them just to produce it themselves or buy the script themselves?
Well,
or
see, a
whatever?
lot of the stuff that is produced by Amazon, produced by Netflix, it's not.
Yes.
It's
licensed.
not. They've bought it like a lot of the British shows that
Yeah.
are on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
They already had their first run in Britainland,
Right.
and Netflix buys them, and they buy the rights, and they throw a Netflix original on there.
Yeah, I get
So-
that. It's just there are also Netflix original shows that haven't actually aired on anything
Oh,
else
right.
except
Yes,
for
absolutely.
Netflix, and that's
Right.
their property pretty much.
Right, but I know a lot of Amazon stuff up until the last couple of years has been.
Yeah, other people's
Other
stuff.
people's
Yeah,
stuff,
they would
yeah.
just buy the naming rights or the distribution rights.
Yeah,
or
they're just
whatnot.
in the collection business and
Yeah.
then display. Yeah.
Sure.
So Rotten Tomatoes.
But to answer your question, I think it is beneficial for them because there are the costs you don't necessarily think about with productions. It's not just the salaries and food
Right.
and all that stuff. It's the insurances. It's
Sure.
keeping the lights on. It's all that stuff that isn't really factored into the budget of the film per se.
Right.
Yeah. So Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give The Tomorrow War 52%.
Okay.
The audience, however, gives it a 78%,
Okay.
Yep.
which is pretty high to me.
Well, I mean, everybody's just kind of looking at it as a popcorn film. I mean, they're not looking at it like us and looking into the science or looking at the weapons or anything. They're just popping popcorn, man, and they're just hanging out.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining movie. It's a waste of 2 hours, but whatever.
I'm going to chalk it up more to drug use has actually increased a lot in the last few years. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that are doing a lot of drugs. So now when they watch this crap, they're going, "It looks great, man. Put flashy colors, bro.
Is that an alien?
Pass the heroin."
Is this Jurassic World 3?
Yeah.
That's the heroin.
Hey, it's legal in Seattle. What am I going to say?
All right. So Kyle, you said you wanted to start us off.
Sure, I'll start us off this time. Yeah, Rowan, thanks for this commission, by the way. This was good.
You're doing the exact opposite from me, Rowan.
No. This was good. Yeah, I mean, it was like, it's exactly like what you described. Was it Independence Day and Starship Troopers?
Yeah, Starship
had a
Troopers,
baby.
Independence Day had a
Yeah,
baby.
it's definitely this movie, and I think that as a whole and on the surface, it's an entertaining movie. But once you start to look into things, man, does it fall apart. It actually starts to disintegrate, just like the Queen did in the back in the end. Everything starts to fall apart. I mean, I really did think that it was going to be a decent movie just because it had Chris Pratt and it had J.K. Simmons. It had a nice cast in it, very high quality cast. But I'd say like probably the last 30 minutes is when I'm thinking, okay, I'm just done. I'm done with this movie. You guys are wrapping this up too fast, and it doesn't really make sense of what's going on. So yeah, this is definitely a popcorn movie. I might watch it again if somebody else wants to watch it. Like, hey, I'm over at somebody's house and they're like, "Yeah, have you seen this?" Like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it with you. But I think I'm going to give this like a 5.5.
Okay, a 5.5 for Kyle. John?
I thought I liked it before we talked about it, and I've come to the conclusion that no, not really. You took the words right out of my mouth, Kyle. You can watch it at face value,
Yeah.
but the minute that you try to put any sense to it whatsoever, it falls apart. And I loved your analogy about falling apart like the Queen at the end. That was great. But I mean, it does have its moments. If you look at some of the scenes are good, like the scene where they actually talk, where Chris Pratt and his future daughter talk. That they do have some well acted scenes, but the actiony stuff is very Hollywooded. It's very non-realistic. I just wish that there was no, oh thank God we invented this thing that could help us, type deal. I enjoyed it. I stayed awake through it, so that's a plus for me.
There
right?
you go.
I watched the entire thing without needing a nap.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean it's something that I have no inclination whatsoever to watch again, unless maybe my wife wants to watch it, but that's about it. Even to screw my friends, I'm not watching it. No, not doing it. I'm gonna give this a solid 4.
Okay, a 4 for John. Man, you guys kind of said everything I was going to say. The only way I would watch this again is if I was drinking with somebody and I wanted to make fun of it. It's going to be one of those type of movies. The one thing that we didn't talk about was like the score. typically we talk a little bit about the score that happens here. It was so... I typically don't pay attention to the scores when I'm watching a movie for the first time. But it was so over the top in scenes and so percussive, and I didn't like it. And some of the stuff is so just contrived and...
Satan.
Well, no, you're about to score it.
Well played. I have nothing to say to that. Yeah.
There's just so much I like. The 15-year-old
Oh God. Yeah.
volcano.
That's the worst.
I could not stand that. I wanted to turn it off. I'm gonna give this a 3.
Okay, it's kind of. I'm going to say this. It's appropriate the way these scores just went. I'm going to say that. Okay, before I even scored, because it went 5-5, 4, 3. It's definitely on a downward decline. Okay, that's what I think it's going to do for Amazon too. By the way, you were asking whether or not it'll pay. I don't think so. I think the news will get out that this movie is horrible.
We should look at stock prices of Amazon over the week, over opening weekend.
Yeah. Drop 20 points. Okay, so the entire movie, I can't think of one thing I liked. The minute he fell into the pool at the beginning, I should say, and didn't immediately die, I was like, okay, so is he in some kind of like, okay, so he's in some kind of like mecha armor, like, some kind of futuristic armor thing that's gonna, no, they're not. Okay, well, okay. From then on, the movie was just bad. I couldn't focus. I couldn't enjoy it. The few parts that I could enjoy were like when people would be torn to pieces, and it was just so pathetic. Like either the CGI or their screaming, something was funny to me. I couldn't. No, it was bad all the way around. The cherry on top was the 15-year-old volcanologist. That was the cherry on top. Mm-hmm. When they're making comments about, oh my God, he's so smart. I'm like, he read a book probably in their library, possibly dated 1987, probably didn't even understand all the words. And now you're going to go to him to save the universe. You're making a woke statement. You're not making a movie actually saving the world statement. It bothered me to no end. I'll be honest, I didn't even notice the score. The whole movie's like a damn, breakbeats or house music.
So intrusive,
video.
And it doesn't make sense with the scenes.
It's just awful. I just hated the whole movie. I don't know. I just wish the White Spikes had attacked earlier so that we didn't have to watch this movie. Anyway, for me, this is no better than Bill and Ted Save the Music, and it is a 0.5, in fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eddie gives The Tomorrow War a 0.5. Is that your lowest?
Nope.
No.
0.3 is my lowest with Cool World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was better than Cool World.
I would
there
say
you go. That's on the back of the DVD case. There's my quote. It was better than Cool World.
I mentioned this because we've mentioned Gemini Man on this show.
Oh yeah, oh God.
The guy who scored Gemini Man.
Also did this?
Scored this movie. Yes.
Gemini Man's another just terrible movie. It's so bad. That makes sense.
Well, so what that leaves, The Tomorrow War gives it a Screen Riot score of 3.3.
Okay.
So there it is. So thank you very much, Rowan G, for your commission. Hopefully you're not too pissed at us. And again, if you don't mind us tearing your movie apart, go to screenriot.net/support.
Wait, did Rowan make this?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, if he did, stop making movies, Rowan. Stop now. Nothing in this world should ever be made like this again.
I am glad that I watched it, though.
I am too. I'm glad I watched it.
I'd rather tear my fingernails out again.
Damn. Again?
Well, then watch it. Then watch it again. I'd rather tear my fingernails out.
Yeah. So if you want to commission your own movie, go ahead to screenriot.net, click on support, and you can see all of the ways that you can support the show. And with that, we're out of here. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Later.
Thanks.